I was happy to see that I was right on the clarification that one, I did not think that Goku Raku was going to turn on Ichi. Anytime that from the previous chapters where we saw him interacting with him, he came off as very genuine in a person to person set of means that he wasn't a complete and total, like he wasn't like psycho. He wasn't just gonna kill somebody at the drop of a hat. His dislike and his hatred is all towards the magics, which as a verse we know that makes a lot of sense. The magics are very not all of them, not all the magics are evil, but they seem to be very just outright malefic for the sake of being cruel a lot of the time. So it makes a lot of sense to me that any character that has some form of backstory where they go out of their way to, get powerful and to do the extra things and be able to mess around with magics, that they wouldn't like them. Because like this, if he's got a whole backstory, we didn't have to wait for this chapter to even fully know that. It was very clear that in the previous chapter that whatever relationship he had with some magic before, it was going to be very negative, and it was going to be something that spins this guy into a rage. Because I mean, especially when you look at the fact that his character, like the whole thing with the brutalizer, he is outright super aggressive and a bit maniacal, but it's only when he's interacting with the magics. When it came to Ichi, he was super friendly. He just wanted to talk to him. He would, he didn't like try and withhold information. And even in this chapter, he like the second that he started to like ask him about like, okay, can you tell me about this magic that you're referring to? He starts to go into it and just straight up gives him the information on what's going on. So like the chapter starts out, and I actually thought it was neat that we had the recap in color pages. Just it was really nice to get a couple of the official colors. I know they said that Goku Raku's hair was blue for the most part. I didn't think that the secondary color would be orange. I think that's a pretty good color combination. Dude's a Nerf gun over here. But we have him in the chapter just like, oh yeah, you kill this kid while he's sleeping, and then then you're gonna definitely be able to get my power. It at the same time, it's like, yeah, that sounds logical. If that's what turned Ichi into a male witch, it would make sense, as that's why it would turn Goku Raku into a male witch if he got to it. The problem is like even in the scenario where it's like if he believed, oh yeah, if I kill him, I could gain the power. It's like he doesn't even know the trial that made Ichi like this, so it's just it would be such a crazy risk to take with the knowledge that the magics are a bunch of liars and they're very sharp tongued and they're just looking to deceive you. And he just goes for this really good flick and just pretty much turns them into mush and just splatters them on the wall. And again, I didn't think for a second that he was going to really fall for that, because the people in the verse, the magics just seem outright problematic. They don't really like, there's like the prophecy magic, but the prophecy magic is annoying in its own right. Like she just kind of is difficult to work with, but it's like that's like the lowest level of problem you have with them. Where it's like when these guys, you know that Uro's going to be a much more like completely malicious and evil magic. He's not going to just be, yeah, kill this kid and I'll just go with you. No, it's not going to happen. Like that's a completely extra thing. Plus, if he seriously came at Ichi with like full killing intent, he would just wake up, because he would just sense that. He would recognize the killing intent coming at him. But while I'm just gonna say Baku Raku, this is Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi. When Goku Raku is thinking about the magic that he is, in his backstory, he starts to kind of just have like an episode and go a little crazy, wanting to destroy him. I'm looking forward to seeing what the specifics are and like the details, because we have a little bit of information on on this whole the real magic that they're here for, is the blessed slumber magic, Lord Bakugami. And we see in the chapter on top of it that there's like a actual version of who he is inside of like this big sleepy taper looking guy, but he is far more humanoid than Oro. Because like when I first read the chapter, I was like, well, what if it's like he isn't actually a magic and it's a fake, and he's just messing with this country. But that's going to be the whole reveal. But I would assume that just from the fact that they came here from the prophecy magic, saying that there was a magic here that they were looking for, that this would be that magic, because the Origuma one is not the magic that they were that they're after. So it's like, well, I would assume at that point then this dude has to be a magic. But if he's going to be like one of these special magic, because we don't know exactly what the criteria for them are, I would assume any of them that look outright human are going to fit into that. Uro was not really in that full category. I mean, he had human properties, but obviously he wasn't, but maybe that was just him and he could have taken a human-like form. Either way, like, this guy's in here, he's crazily, I guess, obsessed with the world hater magic. A thing, though, to me that's very interesting is I figured that when it comes to, like, the magics, especially the higher up ones, they would know what the world hater magic's actual name is instead of just that. But I mean, it's kind of interesting, the idea that not even they would be aware of it. So he's just like, yeah, I don't even trust these idiots. I don't want to get these guys who are off doing their own ridiculous things, and I'm over here just trying to go for the world apocalypse. Um, Meanwhile, you have Descaros, and she's just upset that Ichi got kidnapped. I mean, like, she shouldn't be too upset, because, like, the fact that she's still alive means that he is not dead yet. So, like, every second that she's breathing, she has a chance to find him. Um, Meanwhile, while she's talking to the dudes of this country, because they explain that the country of Bakugami is named after Lord Bakugami, and he is this magic that the people of the country revere, whereas Goku Raku hates him. And I'm guessing that there's going to be some form of, like, really messed up parts in the backstory. Whereas, like, say, like, Goku Raku's mom or something or rather did, like, maybe she worked here at this palace. This is, like, an idea. And something happened that, like, annoyed Bakugami, and it was, like, one of those just, like, oh, this person sneezed while I was drinking my tea or something, or behead him, kind of just go with it. And this whole setup, it seems very much like these guys wouldn't even think twice about it. So even in the idea, it's like you have the, say, oh, this lady, all she does is serve tea, she's never bothered anybody, she's just this nice lady. Any normal person would be like, yeah, we're not gonna, why would we do that? And even in the idea of, like, you have, like, some ruler, there's, like, gonna be a degree of contesting to ridiculous and outrageous demands. Whereas these guys just seem to be outright like, yeah, no, they're fully committed into doing whatever is necessary for this magic. And I feel like it's going to be something along those lines, where it's going to be some really dark, random twist in a backstory where the characters just go along with it because it's something that they're all accustomed to, and they just do whatever for Lord Bakugami. I think that'll be really neat, just for world building too. Because one thing I wasn't really thinking too much about that is really fair to establish in the verse is areas where you have really powerful magic kind of have established themselves, and maybe they've just been here for centuries, and like they haven't been able to get obtained because of the country itself, or people keep it a secret. Because they mentioned that anybody who tries to go and acquire Bakugami will just be executed on the spot by their guards. And if you mess with, like, Bakugami, essentially you're going to turn this entire country into your enemies. So at the same time, I wonder what exactly level of threat that would even be from them, because with Goku Raku, like, he's got a whole modified body. He's got a whole modified body, and he's got these magic tools and stuff that he's able to use to a degree. He is able to actually put up a level of power and force that I would assume is not going to be common. Whereas, as far as I can tell, like, this guard dude, whatever exactly his job is, he's the mayor or whatever, they don't seem that powerful. Like, at least I would assume, because he's not a witch, he's a guy. He, I would also assume, doesn't have some cool modified body, so I would, again, assume off that he's just gonna have martial arts and stuff like that, and maybe, like, a cool weapon. But outside of that, I mean, it was a really good establishment chapter, because I was really, I was gonna be really mad if we skipped over what exactly the magic was that he was having beef with at some point, just because I like to get, like, specific names at least. Like, even if we didn't get to see this big sleepy tapir or his actual form apparently inside, I would have liked to just know the name of, like, what type of magic it is. But I don't know. As it were, now they're going to have to start to figure out how to get around dealing with this, because he wants to, like, he pretty much is just like, yeah, Ichi, can you help me deal with this? And I think Ichi's gonna 100% do it. The question though after that is, if this guy is some form of special magic, kind of like Ororo, will he be able, like, will Goku Raku be able to absorb him and become a male witch, or will Ichi just get him as well and then have two of these like special ones going into it? I don't know. I kind of like the idea more of Ichi not getting it, because I don't want him to rev up on too many crazy things too fast. I would like to see more of a gradual setup. Also, if his power is like he makes people tired or sleepy, I would rather that be on someone like who has no powers, and it's just like, oh well, just one of the things he can do is he just makes you tired and sluggish in the middle of a fight, and then he lands attacks. Whereas like with the amount of utility Ichi is already aiming to get, I would feel like he would become too dangerous too fast for a lot of the low like opponents that we're gonna see between now and getting to the World Hater Magic and stuff. Because the verse is still like unknown in a lot of areas, but at the same time, it's like we know now, at least from what we're told, the top of the world is the World Hater Magic. Then maybe there's other World Hater Magics, or maybe there's a couple more at his level or something out there. But as far as we know, he's the only one. So once we get more to that, we'll kind of have that little expanse open. But for now, we have to keep in mind that everything we're going to be seeing up until one of these possibilities is going to be a spreading of the gauge of where these characters are going to be at, because we have people that are again at the top, with the World Hater Magic being the strongest known magic that we know, and with Deskros claiming to be the strongest witch in the world. So it's like we have an idea of where the top is, but there's so much room between what we've seen and the rest, until we get like that full feeling of where we've been kind of accustomed to, and the full extent of what we're going to be seeing, kind of thing. Whereas it's gonna be a wait, but at the same time, it's going to be a show. And I think that's what a lot of people that are going to be waiting on. But it was a good chapter. Like I said, it was read pretty fast. I think just because there was a good amount of spread pages, like the flick of just him getting mad, seeing the cool town countryside with all the tents and pavilions and whatnot, and then just the last page wherein you have that mostly like what was like 2/3 of a double spread with Bakugami on there. So we'll see. I wonder his trial will be, just because like he seems to be someone really extra weird. If his power is to make people sleep, though, I just don't really know like what's going to be the long running fight aspect of it, or is he just going to be more of a country problem they have to get around? But anyway, other than that, comment below, tell me your thoughts about this chapter and what your thoughts about what's going on. I think a lot of this stuff was pretty straightforward. I think that the real interesting twist is that this guy is apparently just lives inside of this Tapir construct. What does he do all day? Does he just stare at the World Hater Magic painting? I don't know. Either way, we'll see. Talk to you guys in the next one.